Real questions, real answers for real life. Come on in and pull up a chair. It's time to discuss the issues of the day here at 1850 Main Street.
Does anyone actually like going to college commencement ceremonies or actually listen to the speeches?
It's springtime, graduation. Do you like going to commencement ceremonies?
I haven't been to that many, but no, I haven't loved it when I've gone. Yeah, just to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, have you ever went to a commencement speech or any type of speech and been like, man, I just wish that person would have spoke 5 minutes longer. Yeah. I just wish they would have kept going.
Fred Rogers did a commencement speech at Bowling Green. I would have liked to have maybe been at that one. That's a famous one. We've actually played a piece of that on the public square, but yeah, I typically don't. They tell you not to. They tell everybody don't applaud until the end. Sometimes until all the students have gone. Don't applaud. No one ever listens. They just applaud.
Someone always going to scream. Yeah, because for some it's a miracle that their child maybe made it. They never envisioned.
It certainly will be if that happens for my children. So yes,
I remember going to my mom's college commencement at Kent State. I would have probably been 14, 15. My mom went back so my mom started college when I was like 10 years old and my brother was 5.
Oh, wow.
So they got married I think my mom was 19, 14 months later, I'm born. Then 5 years after that, 4.5 years after that, my brother's born. And so when he started kindergarten at like 5 or 6, she started college.
Oh, that's cool.
And she went, and I remember going to hers and I'm like, do I really have to sit through all this? So when they announced her name, and I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I was like bummed because obviously W's at the end. But there was a problem because of a maiden name situation anyway, it ended up being an L, I believe. So she was announced in the middle and then I left. I just told my dad, I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm out of here.
He sat through the rest
14, 15. Yeah, he's a great husband. Of course he sat through the rest. So yeah, and I remember my high school commencement. But all I remember is that the speaker, the theme of it was, you don't have to outrun the bear, you have to outrun your friend. And I thought, wow, that's a kind of odd.
That was the theme?
Yeah, it was one of those ones where like, you got to be faster than the person next to you. And I'm like, shouldn't we be helping the person next to us? Like, this is like really awkward and weird.
Well, that offends me, Rob. I think that I now need to issue a statement of saying how that commencement address offends me. Should I do that? Because I think that's a terrible message.
You can. I'm not sure that.
Yeah. Do you think The View maybe would hold a segment on that, about how that's a bad commencement address because you didn't help people?
Yeah, I think we should help people. So I would agree with them. The problem is when that happened, there was no social media. There was no one probably recording the ceremony.
And the person speaking probably wasn't famous?
No, wasn't famous. And
or not a professional athlete.
Not a professional athlete. Yeah. Unlike today, where we have a bit of controversy.
Over a commencement address of all things.
A commencement address done by a professional athlete, Harrison Butker.
Mm-hmm. Kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Place kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs.
3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yes.
One of, if not the best kicker in the league.
Devout Catholic. Mm-hmm. Invited to speak at Benedictine
College.
Is in Kansas City to give their commencement address. And he admittedly says that he declined the opportunity to give the commencement address when the president called the first time, because he gave one last year. And he said that, that one was enough.
Yeah. Well, because he called himself an amateur speaker, an amateur public speaker. It's not his day job.
Yeah.
But he finds himself.
And his message is stay in your lane. So he felt maybe he should stay in his lane, and it's not public speaking. But he relented based on, I believe he said the persuasion.
Yes, yeah. And everyone laughed when he said that.
Yeah, so there
must be some subtext.
The college president must be in there. So have that way of persuasion at Benedictine. So he gave this speech, and it has made headlines because of what he said.
Well, yeah, the NFL actually came out and officially distanced themselves from his speech. Jonathan Bean, the NFL Senior Vice President and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, which how long has that been a position at the NFL? That feels recent. That feels right. Do you think that like Dick Butkus was in the league when they had that particular position? I don't know.
I have a feeling it's new.
No, it sounds new. So Jonathan Bean, in his important capacity here, says Harrison Butker gave a speech in his personal capacity. His views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger. So that's the official. That's what the NFL says.
I'm
about
thinking
it.
about the diversity aspect of it. The NFL doesn't have many 5'5" slow guys in their league, so they're not diverse as far as speed and size,
unless they are kickers
and
so.
strength. I even think they're maybe a few. But I don't know that Harrison Butker ever said he was representing the Kansas City Chiefs or the NFL in his speech.
Right. No. Yeah, he certainly didn't. So they're right about that. He gave it in his personal capacity. I think to me, it's the NFL's not, it doesn't appear that they're trying to discipline him or anything like that. So the NFL can obviously, they're free to make this statement, but I think it's ridiculous. I'm also free to think it's ridiculous. Nobody thinks that the NFL is a staunchly Catholic, traditional Latin mass organization. No one thinks that. So it's just unnecessary to say.
But would anyone think, an NFL kicker said that, therefore the NFL must believe what the kicker said?
Yeah.
When NFL players are arrested for drunk driving, does anyone think, well, the NFL must endorse drunk driving? When NFL players are allegedly labeled as wife beaters, does anyone say, well, the NFL must endorse that? No. I don't understand why the need for the NFL to jump in and somewhat distance itself from the kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they felt the need to do that because the speech is about 20 minutes long. It's been excerpted, pull quotes, and those quotes have been making national news, even above and beyond the NFL saying that. So I'm wondering if they felt the need to respond simply because it's become big news. You know, NBC shows are talking about it. The View, as we were making a joke earlier, the View talked about it. And everybody's denouncing his comments. So Rob, if you had to say, what do you think everyone's so mad about with this particular speech?
I think they're mad that he quoted scripture. He talked about the Bible, and everything I've seen in headlines, though, they've pulled everything you've said totally out of context.
Right.
I mean, everything I've read about what they're accusing him of is out of context. Some of the biggest people that are frustrated by this speech are Swifties.
Oh, okay.
For those of you that don't know what Swifties are, they are the allegiant of fans of Taylor Swift. And in this, Harrison Butker says to quote, how's he say it, Alan? Does he say to quote the girlfriend of a teammate of mine?
I think something like that.
To quote the girlfriend of a teammate of mine, familiarity breeds contempt. And what he was doing was quoting one of the lyrics of her song, and I guess people are outraged like he was taking a shot at Taylor Swift because he didn't say her name.
Yeah, not calling her name. Yeah, I think he meant that. It just sounds like a tongue-in-cheek joke, and I think it got laughs in the room.
It did get laughs in the room because everybody knows. There was not one person that said, I wonder who he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was funnier to leave her unnamed because everyone can fill in the name. You know, I think that was the point of why he did it.
She's arguably the most popular woman in the world.
I would argue she's the most powerful woman in the world. If you would quantify power as having the ability to say something that moves people to do certain things, who's more powerful? You think Kamala Harris is more powerful than Taylor Swift?
No.
In terms of influence of people's minds? I don't think so. So I think Taylor Swift is arguably the most powerful woman in the world. And he was just joking around. Like, he's not going to take a shot at his teammate's girlfriend, like an actual shot.
He was
Travis is way bigger than him.
Yeah. Travis is not a kicker. But speaking of Travis, let's talk about Travis.
All right.
When you subscribe to 1850 Main Street, you're the first to find out what's happening next with new guests, publications, and events. And when you spread the word about 1850 Main Street, you're helping others find real answers to the real questions facing America right now. To learn more, visit 1850mainstreet.com. And please, tell a friend.
Travis was at a commencement earlier this year, his own commencement.
Which, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. This is no hate on Travis Kelce.
No.
Sidebar, I officiated a number of Travis Kelce's high school basketball games when he was a star at Cleveland Heights High School in Northeast Ohio. So one of the most polite young men I've ever officiated in their basketball game. Always run down the ball for you. Yes, sir. No, sir. Just was great.
And you've always told me that. You've told me that for years about him.
Huge Kelce fan of the entire family. So, but Travis Kelce received his degree earlier this year from the University of Cincinnati. And when he received the degree, he grabbed a beer and he chugged it on stage and slammed it. That's what he did.
Yeah, with his robe and all this stuff
cap,
on.
Gown, everything. Chugs a beer, slams it. Everyone laughed.
Yeah, I think people received it in the spirit in which he did it,
And some would say, well, isn't drinking a problem on college campuses? Isn't that one of the biggest detriments to the youth on colleges today?
Yeah.
Should we be promoting
excessive drinking on college campuses? Yeah.
In front of recent graduates? Did you hear one person that was offended over what Travis Kelce did?
I didn't hear it. No.
I didn't hear one person that was offended over what Travis Kelce did. I saw it replayed time and time again and laughed about because it was Travis Kelce and what he was doing. No one took offense to him doing that.
Well, and that's where it gets to what I think was one of the more controversial things. Again, I don't think it should have been controversial, but let me read briefly one of the statements I think that Harrison Butker said that was really getting people up in arms. And I think they're taking him out of context, and we can talk about it, see what we say. He says, I want to speak directly to you briefly. He's talking to the women in the audience. Because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross the stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. People are accusing him of, misogyny and all types of things and being, anti-women working because of that statement. To me, I think that's a misreading of that statement.
I agree. He goes on in the speech to talk about his respect for women. He goes on in the speech to talk about hard truths of the Bible. He goes on to talk about the hard truths of Catholic doctrine. I mean, he talked about, if I'm not mistaken, he talked about Catholic birth control.
Sure, that's a well-known Catholic position. I actually have the we always like to pull a book off the shelf here at the
here we go.
At the library here. I have the Catechism of the Catholic Church right here. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff about birth control in there, and it's well known. That's not a surprise that Catholics think what they think about birth control.
So that's my thing is here is a young man that is an NFL kicker, a world champion. He gives a speech as a devout Catholic to a Catholic university where he talks about hard truths and he talks about too much time spent being the church of nice. He's basically says we can't be the church of nice. We have to tell the truth on things. He references COVID, all the things that happened then. The question for me becomes, if he wasn't an NFL kicker, would anyone have taken notice of this speech and recognized it at all?
No, I don't think so. Well, and that's why, to me, I think the headline should be, maybe this could be a Babylon Bee headline or something. Catholic man says Catholic things at Catholic place. Why are we surprised? This is something.
And non-Catholics are offended.
And non-Catholics are offended. That's the thing. He's not talking to you.
Right.
He's not talking to you.
Right.
This was now they posted it on YouTube publicly so people can watch it. It wasn't secret. It wasn't a leaked video.
No.
They weren't hiding.
But everything that talks about it says controversial. What is the controversy?
Yeah, he's talking to people who are trying to live out their Catholic faith, specifically traditional Latin Mass Catholic faith.
He advocates for, he says TLM how many times?
Yes.
So he advocates for traditional Latin Mass.
That's a very specific historic movement of Catholicism that's ancient. It's not a secret. It's not a secret society. Very traditional. been around for Catholics will say 2,000 years. Protestants might say 1,500 years. Who knows? A long time. It's been around a long time. And these are people who are trying to follow in that path. I'm sure not everybody there agreed with the speech, but the speech got a standing ovation. If the success of a speech is judged by
the audience in the room,
did the audience receive it as it was intended? Yes, they did. Most of them.
And it was pre-approved. And I think you saw the sincerity of Harrison Butker, in my opinion, when he talked about his wife and how he met her and her conversion. And you saw how much that meant to him. I believe he did his homework on this. I believe he poured his heart into this. And I believe you got to hear his passion and his true convictions.
All right, I think that's probably about to be all the time that we have for today, but I don't want to stop talking about this. There's some more things that I want to talk about. One of them being who supported his right to say this and who came out against it. And I think it's going to be a surprise. Small spoiler alert as we go here. There were some nuns that didn't like the speech, and it blew my mind. All right, we got to talk about that later.
This conversation isn't over yet, so come on back next time and pull up a chair at 1850 Main Street. To help spread the word, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To find out more, visit 1850mainstreet.com. We'll see you soon.